The time being black saved my life. Have you ever thought today is the day? Today is the day you see your creator. Today is the day you leave everything behind. Today is the day it all ends. Well, I had those thoughts around 4:37 on a Monday in February. The day started off strong. I got my family to all the places they needed to be. Though we were behind schedule, and that was kind of usual for a one-car household comprised of two little girls and a husband and a wife who enjoy laying in bed 10 minutes longer, just a little too much. But we all got to our destination safely. Work starts off differently today, though. I had took a new supplement to help me stay focused, and I had asked AI to help me have a productive day. However, today was one of those days where I found myself using my superpower of listening more than my learned skill of goal setting and execution. I sat in two meetings where I usually just listen and use my note-taking skills. Plus, when I wasn't listening to my coworkers, I found myself listening to music and getting my work done. And on top of that, my aunt wanted me to call her during my work day. And usually she gives me advice, which I listen to. But this day, they didn't allow me any time to make the phone call. So I had to wait until I left my job to call her. I'm glad I did. Leaving work, the sun was starting to set per the usual around this time where I live. I hop in my car and place my belongings on the floor under the car seats. And as I begin to play music, I remember I'm supposed to call my aunt back. And I do that. I take my normal route that I take 5 days of the week. I turn left at the corner, drive through the first light. Then I stop at the second light. Then I turn right at the light, drive to the stop sign, let the people cross. Then I drive to the next light and stop. I then go through 3 more red lights. I turn left at the interstate and I beeline it from my exit to my wife's job. I then turn off at the interstate at my wife's job's exit. I ride the outside lane to the red light at the end of the next exit. All the while I'm on the phone with my aunt, just talking and catching up. Well, at the red light, that's when things change. See, I had both my AirPods in, and I had just updated my godmother on my health the past 4 years. All of a sudden, I noticed the big SUV in front of me place their car in park, and the passenger door opened up. I think, damn, they just broke down right in front of me, and I'm already like 2 minutes late picking up my wife. And the black male steps out of the car, and he has on a red jacket, and instead of going towards the hood, he turns and looks at me. I say to my aunt, hold up, Nanny, this dude getting out of his car, or something like that. And then I heard him yell, are you following me? Me being confused, I just point one finger at myself and raise my hands up like the shrugging emoji on the iPhone. I then heard him say something like, all right, bet, or all right, watch, or all right, hold up. All I know for sure is that I heard him say, all right. And it was in the way a black person says, all right before some shit pop off. Well, he gets back in the car, and I tell my aunt what just happened. I'm just telling her, like, I'm taking the route I take every day to get my wife. I don't know what he want me to do. I do this every day. Well, the light turns green, and they turn left, and I turn left. Now, that is the only way we can go in this lane that we in. There's another red light ahead of us, though. And in the lane that we're in, you can only keep straight or turn left. I'm going left. I have gone left at this light for 5 days a week for the past almost 3 years. I'm going left. And I feel like the time it took to get to the next light was the longest 3 to 4 seconds I had felt in a while. Because I knew before it happened. I knew they would turn to left too, and sure enough, they put their blinker on before I even thought about putting my blinker on first. In my head, I said, fuck. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all because I know I say I don't curse often, but I definitely did this day. Well, they put their blinker on, and like a dummy, I put my blinker on too. And all I could do with my nanny on the phone is just nervously laugh, like, come on, man. Like, I'm telling her, like, this is my route, nanny. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, plus in my head, I'm still thinking I have 1 minute left for a 3 minute drive. So I just know I can shave that 3 minutes down to one so I can get brownie points for my wife. But anyway, they turn left at the light. I turn left at the light. The road turns into 2 lanes at this point, and then I stay in the left lane, and the car goes in the right lane and stops. I see that, and then I curse again. Shit. In my head, because I still respect my nanny though, I honestly don't remember if I mentioned to her that they had pulled over. All I know is I didn't even look in the car to potentially make eye contact. I just drove straight past at a normal speed, hoping that they would let me go past so that any concern of me following them would be squashed. And to be honest, I had hoped they had disappeared and turned around. Plus, I was really still trying to get to my wife at 4:31 now instead of 4:30. So I turn right at the next road intersection and I drive down to the state-run facility that my wife works at. As I pull into her job, I don't see them directly behind me, so I think, okay, we good. We clear. Well, at my wife's job, I always go to the end of the parking lot. I pull into a space, back out, and then I drive up to the door to meet my wife there so that she doesn't have to walk far. I know, sweet, right? But anyway, as I'm backing out, I see the SUV pulling into the parking lot. At this point, my nanny's voice is starting to come back into my awareness, and I'm pretty sure it's because she heard me say shit one more time or something like that. At that moment, my heart rate increased, and here's why. There was a car in front of the door to my wife's job already. And my wife's job is a one-way in and a one-way out. The SUV pulled into a parking spot and then angled and backed their car up to block the one-way in and the one-way out. When it parks, out hops a black male with black pants and a red sports jacket on with a ski mask on his head and immediately puts his right hand in his right jacket pocket in a position that could only mean I'm holding on to something that I don't want moving around as I walk. I only needed one guess as to guess what was in that jacket pocket. He then starts walking towards me, and I see that he has a ski mask on that leaves his face in an opening. And he has on some reflective snowboard glasses with the Supreme words faded across. At least it registered as Supreme to me. Well, as he is walking over, one hand in his pocket, the other swinging vigorously, I tell my nanny, hold on. I take my AirPods out my ear, and for some reason, I think back to the guidance that I was taught around dealing with police. Remain calm, keep your hands visible, and don't pose as a threat. I rolled my window down. I looked into his glasses. This man was clearly not the police. You got a problem, he asked? In a split second before I could get words out, I felt my voice try to crack. And I told myself, hell no, I can't show fear. And I projected the confidence of someone who has been confronted before and remained calm. No, why? I said. He said, pointing at his SUV. She said you've been following us for a good while. I said, nah, man. I'm coming to pick my wife up from work. Fuck. I yell in my head. Why did I just say my wife works here? Shit. He says, you sure? I said, 100%. He says, because I have people out here looking for me. I have people out here trying to kill me. And he moves his right hand in his pocket around. And at that moment, I just knew he was about to pull something out. But before he could, the only thought I had in my head was, what the fuck do I say to that? And the only words that could come out were, I ain't one of them. Now, I don't know if he moved his head a certain way or what, but I could see through the reflection of his glasses for a second, and I saw his eyes. And my face must have done something, because it was as if he noticed that I noticed something about him, and then he backed up a little bit. Then he said, I'm going to give you a pass because you're black. Then he starts to walk away. And when he turned, I could feel his energy shift. He then looked at me, and he said the last words I expected to hear. I love you. When he said it, the first words I thought were, what the fuck? And I'm sure my face definitely showed a puzzled look. And it's not like he smiled or smirked or anything like that, but he made his face move in a way that was like, in your response. And he kept looking at me as he walked away. I said, I appreciate you. Then he proceeds to walk towards the front door of my wife's job. A lady was going in, and he opened the door for her in a way that made it seem like he had just had a chat with an old friend and was now leaving the place he was welcomed in. He then got back into the car, and he pulled away as more of my wife's co-workers started heading back in. Shocked, puzzled, but grateful. That's how I felt. I put my AirPods back in, and all I get my nanny saying is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I asked her, did you hear all that? Did you hear that? She said, yeah, she did. I was hoping she didn't, so she wouldn't worry, but I also realized that when I took my AirPods out, the phone just connected to my car, so the audio was probably really clear. She said something like, did he say people are trying to kill him? I told her no. He said, because I have people out here looking for me, I have people out here trying to kill me. And it never occurred to me in that moment that I was scared. While talking to him, I did not show fear. But my nanny said, I'm so happy this didn't go left. And in my head, I thought, what other way could this have gone? And when I had that thought, it was the first time I noticed my heartbeat again, and it was beating noticeably fast. And then it hit me. It was like I saw drone footage of the event going the other way. I pictured a sky view of him pulling his hand out of his pocket, revealing the gun, pointed at me, and then a flash.
What does mommy always say, girls?
That daddy always come back. Daddy always comes back. Daddy always comes back. Love you, Daddy. I miss you, Andrew. Come home, Daddy. Love you, Daddy.
Make sure you come back to us, baby.
Right, and this tears start to pool in my eyes as I realize what could have happened, what almost happened, but what didn't happen. My nanny is helping me process what just happened a little, and I look at the clock, and I see it's 4:45 p.m. This time I just say, damn. I had never texted my wife that I was outside and ready for her. She still doesn't know that I'm here. I text her, and then a thought occurs to me. I'm so glad she was not coming out to me when this happened. I'm so glad my two baby girls weren't in their car seats in the back with me, waiting for mommy like we've done so many times before. I'm so glad they did not have to experience this situation with me. I'm so glad the situation went the way it did. and not the way it could have gone. And I realized that's why I told him I appreciate him. Because in the moment, my subconscious knew he had just allowed me to live, even when my mind couldn't comprehend why he had just told me he loved me. I'll leave you with this. No matter who you are, no matter what deity or entity you pray to, please keep yourself and your loved ones covered, because I know angels intervene for me this day. These days, people shoot first off assumption and never after explanation. Today, I was given a chance to explain myself. And because of that, I'm here to tell you the story of how being black saved my life.